Okay, so talking about a big year, I can almost certainly say almost every year, of my conscious life is pretty much, a big year. But I'll probably focus on an earlier, much earlier year, when I was in my third year in high school, and I call it a big year because that was one year where, when I was supposedly discouraged, but it turned into an opportunity because I chose to act on it that way. You know what they say about life will throw you a dagger, and you can choose to hold it by the blade and get caught, or hold it by the handle and it becomes a weapon in your hand. I was denied access to the computer lab in my third year in secondary school, and what the teacher literally told me that, oh, computers are not for people like you. You can't understand how to use them. And I decided, that it was, it was either of two things. It was either I kept crying and saying, oh, why would you allow people to go into the computer lab? And this was 1991. Computers were not exactly very popular across Nigeria. This was the Federal Government College, and there were other students that were allowed to go to the computer lab. Some even to play games, with computers. And so I had two options. So one option was keep crying or I was denied access and all that. The other option was to make up my mind that, this thing that I was denied access to, I will learn how to use it. Not only would I learn how to use it, I will learn how to use it and teach other people. Well, as you probably can imagine, I chose the latter. I continued in secondary school. When I completed, secondary school, high school, I went to a computer school. Of course, it took a lot of convincing, to get my parents to agree to pay for something that would not give me, exactly a degree. I did this in 1995. By 95 September, October, I was in school. I was very youth to study electrical engineering. And by 1999, 2000, I had a chance to go to Lagos for industrial attachment, and that was when I had the best opportunity to learn a lot more about computers. And in 1990, 1991, I was denied access to a computer lab. By 2001, 10 years later, I learned how to use computers. I started teaching other people, and interesting thing was, at the time I became Nigeria's IT Youth Ambassador, and I was invited back to the same school, Telecommunications Union. And interesting thing, interesting twist of fate was the person who denied access 10 years before was the one who introduced me to the audience much later, introducing me as and saying something like, oh, when Sesan was in this school, we always knew he would be a great man and all that. And I think it was just, a year, those 2 years, 1991 and 2001, were 2 years that made a lot of difference, that taught me a major lesson that even if you're denied access to knowledge, if you are denied anything, make up your mind. Life will throw you a dagger. Choose. Do you want to hold a blade and bleed and cry, or do you want to hold a handle and make it become a weapon you can also use to achieve other things? That was my big year in 1991, and of course, I look back now and I smile.